Grade School Confidential is definitely a really interesting episode of The Simpsons. I think it's one of those episodes where it sets the pace for future episodes. Some episodes are completely standalone. Some, like this, give us changes in direction for certain characters, and that's certainly what we see with Skinner and Mrs. Krabappel. It's the 19th episode of the 8th season of The Simpsons. It aired in 1997, and I'm not sure how correct that is because the 18th episode, according to IMDb, aired in 1998. Please feel free to correct me. It's directed by Susie Dieter. And quite simply, Principal Skinner and Mrs. Krabappel have started a relationship of sorts, and Bart happens to accidentally witness them kissing. And this is a big deal for him, and he doesn't know whether he wants to wash his brain out and never think of this, if he wants to tell his friends all about this and get it off his chest. And quite wrongly, Mrs. Krabappel and Skinner make sure that Bart never tells anybody. They say, you have to keep this a secret, you can't tell anybody, we could lose our jobs. But it's a big burden, and of course no adult should ever ask a child to keep a secret like that, but it's a big burden for Bart to take, and things don't necessarily go to plan for anybody. I won't say any more than that, but I really like it. It paints Skinner and Krabappel as humans. We don't always get that side of them because often we're looking at the teachers from Bart and Lisa's perspective, but here we get to know a little bit more about them as people and who they are as individuals, and also, of course, who they are as a couple. And I think they work very well. I really like them together. I think it's really fascinating, and I like both the characters. Bart is definitely in a tough position, and I really like Bart in this one. I love Bart as a character, but usually I don't agree with his behaviour. But I totally sided with him with this one. I thought it was a big thing for him to have as a burden, and I was curious to see what he would do. I really enjoyed watching the character and how he handled things, or didn't always handle things, as the case may be. Definitely a great episode, really provides food for thought. If you're watching it with a secret, and the message is don't make a child keep your secret, but also maybe look before you kiss somebody. You never know who's lurking around the corner. Not Bart's fault, of course. I really enjoyed this episode. It's a roller coaster, absolutely an emotional roller coaster. And as I said, it sets the way for future episodes and certain things with these characters. So I think it's a really important episode. Definitely one of my... Well, is it one of my favourites? I don't know if the episode as a whole is one of my favourites, but I like what it does for the show. And I like what happens with the characters. So maybe it is, I don't know. But either way, Grade School Confidential is a brilliant episode. 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a pretty good rating. And definitely one. I've seen it numerous times, always enjoyed it. Pretty sure I always will.